Welcome to Sacred Spaces Advanced School of Ancestral Communication. This is Queen Carlenia, and I am the founder of Project Home Incorporated, where we are reconnecting our Afro-Rakanu and Afro-Right Kaitnut African Black family with our ancestral heritage. We are restoring our divine connection and reclaiming our birthright, and we're doing that organically. I'm also the author of Soul Marked for Life, Nana Ajua's daughter. And so I'm always talking to us about our creation story. And we understand and have always known and have had names for Mother and Father God. We have also known about the spirit forces in creation who operate only in alignment with Mother and Father God and are assigned to govern what we call our head or our spirit as we walk through this life. It is their qualities that we bring into this world. I said we know them by name, and collectively they are known as in the Yoruba as the Orisha. In the Akan tradition, they are known as the Abosam. In the Ebe and Fawn culture, they are known as the Vodou. We hear the word voodoo, and don't even understand. I mean, we associate that, most of us, with evil, right? Don't even understand that it really is a corruption of that word, vodun, which is referring to those spirit forces in creation that are an extension of Mother and Father God, and they operate through all facets of life in the universe, and so they govern and control the different systems within the universe as well as within our bodies. And so they are our parents, if you will. They are our parents. So I talk about the great divine body of Mother and Father God, and we are cells in that divine body. The Orisha, the Vodun, the Abosum, they operate as organs within that divine body, regulating order throughout the body, just like our organs regulate order throughout our body. And our heart organ, that organ that we call the heart, has heart cells. The lung has lung cells. The liver has liver cells. But even within those organs, there are different functions. There are different types of cells that carry different functions. And as Afro-Wakanu and Afro-Right Kaitnute people, we also um, are the cells, as I said, within the great divine body of Mother, Father, God. And so the Orisha, the Vodun, the Obosum, they are the parent, they are our parent organs, and we are the cells. And so we come into this world and we bring their qualities into this world. We're also named after them. And that's how we know our function, our different within our different ethnicities and cultures. We have different systems of determining who who is coming into the community and what they are coming to bring. What medicine are they coming to bring into the community? As I said, I'm the author of Soul Marked for Life, and I also, I believe yesterday, either I said it or I posted that I think I may have posted a graphic saying that Soul Marked for Life healing team is coming soon, bringing that old medicine, that grandmother and grandfather medicine, that medicine that heals for real. When we begin to understand who we are and to embrace our roots, then the medicine that we bring flows freely. And some of us, our voice, literally talking, is medicine. Some singing is medicine. And I'm being reminded right now in this moment that I met a lady in the library who told me that her grandson, I believe it's her grandson, is her son, yeah, her grandson is sick. I don't remember what he has, and it may be some form of cancer. And she just talked about the extreme pain that he has been in, and even though he has medicine, it really is not helping. It really is not helping the pain. And she went and spent the night with him because the family takes turns taking care of him. And she said she could just hear him screaming out in pain in the other room, and all she knew to do was to sing. And she just began to sing, and sing, and with her whole soul just began to sing until she began to hear him quiet down, and she realized that her singing was making a difference with the pain that he was feeling. It was literally lessening the pain to the point that he was actually able to go to sleep. So we carry different medicine, and she had never experienced that before. She was just praying like, God help me. She didn't know what to do, and all she could do was open her mouth and sing, and that was what was needed. And so as we begin to just embrace who we are, like at that point she didn't know what else to do. He had medicine, he had been to the doctors, he is under doctor's care, but you're hearing your family scream out in pain, and there's nothing that you know how to do consciously to alleviate that pain. And she just did what came to her in that moment. And so for some of us, we know what that is that we have. Some of us can pray that pain away. Some of us can talk to the person, and that pain lifts. Some of us can touch, and that pain lifts. Some of us, our very presence causes that pain to shift, to lift. So it's many different ways. Some of us know how to work with the herbs. Some of us know how to work with the rocks, the minerals. Those are the crystals, the stones. They're all alive. They're all alive. This is Sacred Spaces Advanced School of Ancestral Communication. And so when the communication is broken, there is pain. When we get injured, physically injured in our body, there's a swelling that takes place because it's like there's an emergency. A signal has been sent out. There's an emergency. There's heat, right? There's heat, and so water is sent to flood that area to cool it down. And some of us carry a cool, watery energy. Others of us carry a fiery energy. Others of us carry a more grounded, earthy energy. Still, others of us carry the energy of the atmosphere, and others carry the energy of nature. But whatever it is that we carry, we have a responsibility to develop that medicine because it is healing to ourselves, to the people in our family and in our community, and those who are around us. And today, when so many people are living under such high levels of stress, you never know when you will be called upon to dispense that medicine. Today, I had the opportunity to speak actually to a doctor who was experiencing extreme pain, and he's not a medical doctor; he's a PhD, but he's I guess you would say more like a naturopath, and and has studied the body to a very high degree, so he could diagnose himself as well as any other doctor, I guess, besides going under an X-ray machine or an MRI. And yet he was in pain for a few days. And today was my first opportunity to speak to him. And I'm a Reiki master and teacher, and so I just spoke to him a little bit about Reiki. But before that, I just asked him how was he feeling, because I don't need to talk to him about Reiki if he's in extraordinary pain. And I learned that the pain had subsided because I was just telling him, go to the emergency room and do whatever you need to do to handle the pain, and then we can talk. But in listening to him, the pain had already subsided, it had just shifted. And so he knew he was able to eliminate some things. And through our conversation, because he understands the pathways that things take in the body, from the signals from the brain and how it moves all through, and when those signals get disrupted, he knows what that looks like in the body. And so as I was explaining to him about Reiki, you literally just take your hands and just gently place them on your body. You don't massage or anything. You can place them on your body, or just a few inches above the body. And I use the analogy of of arteries. Sometimes people have clogged arteries, and there's some herbs and some foods, some things that they can take nutrition wise that will begin to clean those arteries, right? So as you eat and you drink, the food will move through, and then when it gets to a blockage, it slows down because there's something there. And so as you begin to clean, then that the debris is moved out. Now the blood can flow freely through. So I explained with Reiki, when you place your hands on your body with children, because his grandchildren were there, I said they could help you, and children are more sensitive than us adults. I said they may be able to feel something even quicker than the adults, but I said if you begin to feel like a tingling in your hands or in your body, whoever is doing it, or the recipient may feel this, may feel a warmth, a flowing energy. They may feel heat or even a coolness. It's different for different people. Know that that is energy being released. That's like blocked energy. That's literally being released. And because placing your hands on your heart and on the different parts of your body begin to elicit the relaxation response in your body, the body begins to heal faster. And he understood that because he is a healer. And as we were talking, my friend who connected me with him, she's a healer as well, and we both could hear it in his voice. He was becoming more and more vibrant. When we first called, he was a little bit lethargic, and yet he had to go help his grandchildren make some smoothies. And towards the end of the conversation, I told him, I said, look, he was telling me how he loves to explain the pathways that things take in the body that create the disease, that the inflammation and all of that. And I said, my God, people need to know this. People need to know this. He showed me how breathing, and I know deep breathing can help heal. But what I didn't know that he taught me was that through that deep breathing process, our body can move from being in an acid state to an alkaline state, from an acid state into a more balanced state. I didn't even know that. I was like, my gosh. I said, everybody needs to know this. And he began to express his passion for teaching and helping people. He said, I can't stand to see anybody sick. It's like, I have to help them. I have to do something for them. Like, I know what to do to help them get better. And as I was listening to him become more and more vibrant, I'm like, oh my God. I said, you know what? You're talking about we got together because you were in pain. I said, but this conversation, that pain will be gone. He said, well, as a matter of fact, I don't even feel the pain. And me and my friend, we just began to laugh. And I told him, I said, my goodness, when we are in alignment with what we are supposed to do, all the cells begin to communicate. When the cells are communicating, there's no pain. There's no pain. That pain comes to point us to something that is wrong, some broken communication, some broken connection, something is off. When we restore the communication, then what we consider to be health, a healthy state where we're not even noticing anything because things are moving in order. It was so beautiful to be able to hear him say, I'm not feeling any pain, because for the past 3 days he was literally down and in bed, hard, difficult for him to move. I've had so many incredible stories with Reiki and just laying hands. And imagine my surprise when I found out that in our African languages, that word Ray is actually a form of Ra, the creator. Some people will refer to Ra as the sun god, but Ra is the creator. And and Ki is another word for God. And I'm not sure if it's the Igbo language, another one of our languages. So literally, that word Reiki is literally in our languages saying God, God. When I learned about Reiki, the person who taught me said Reiki has its own intelligence. It has its own energy. It knows where to go, where to flow. I didn't understand all of that. I didn't understand all of that. And yet I could see that it worked, from my experiences, from being able to help myself and help people. And yet now when I look at the images that we see when we see our family in ancient Kemet painted on those walls, what are we always seeing? They have an ankh. Usually have an ankh in their hand, and another hand is like this. They're doing this. They're sending that healing energy to each other, to the king, to the Perah, who the Greeks called the Pharaoh. They're sending energy to each other, healing energy. This is so normal and so natural to us. If we get hurt, we stub our toe, we bump our knee, we hit our finger. The first thing that we do instinctively is this. That's the first thing that we do. It's so natural, we do it without thought. But what is actually happening is that when the minute we begin to touch that place that has been injured, we begin to put the cells back into communication with each other, and that healing is sped up. The healing is sped up. So I can't wait for Soul Mark for Life healing team. I literally just had a real time demonstration of that with my friend who I had just literally told about it yesterday. And today she and I both experienced it with the doctor who understood how the body works. And he came back and he also said, you know what? People don't really realize, yeah, there's the physical part, your brain, there's signals that your brain sends out and messages that are sent back to your brain. There's all of that, but there's this spiritual component as well. And and I said, my goodness, this is we need to hold a workshop, the three of us, because people need to know how this works. Usually people know about healing. They may know about Reiki or hands-on healing, some form of hands-on healing, but they don't understand the processes that take place within the body, how those cells communicate. The mitochondria, which is the powerhouse in the cell, he began to talk about that. When that's off, what happens in the body? So people don't understand that. So some things you don't understand. Like I literally have heard pastors tell people, "Oh, Reiki." That when you hear people talk about Reiki and this, you leave that alone. I had a young lady who was extraordinarily stressed out at her job, to the point where her body was like locking up, and she's talking to me and she's finding that the things that I'm saying are resonating with her, healing for her, making sense to her. And then when I mentioned Reiki, her whole attitude changed. It's like she almost didn't even want to talk to me. Like you would think like I was like some kind of witch or something. Like, the ignorance. My mentor said, our black people, when we let go of ignorance, superstition, and fear, then we will begin to heal. We will begin to come back to ourselves. We have to release the fear, the ignorance, and the superstition. And the superstition is based on things you don't even know. You hear your pastor or somebody else say something, you just take it and run with it. But where God is, there is no fear. So what are you running from? When the people say, "Oh, the crystals," when they talk about the crystals and the this and the that and incense and that's evil and that's witchcraft, that's a lie. Those things are created by God. How someone uses it and what they do to use it, because you can use it to harm and you can use it to heal. So if you're using it to harm, that's witchcraft. You manipulating people, that's witchcraft. If you're using it to heal, you're using it in alignment with divine order. You're using it to harm, that's witchcraft. We got to be able to make a distinction. That's ridiculous. Like if you have a knife, you can actually murder somebody with a knife, or you can harm them pretty badly, or you can cut food and share and give many people to eat who would have otherwise starved. I'm sure we can all understand that. But when it comes to things that are about ourselves, about our power, then we disempower ourselves based on ignorance, superstition, and fear. And yet we're praying to God when God gave us everything that we need. But because we don't understand who we are, we don't understand our identity, We don't understand what it means that we are a part of nature and we are connected to nature. We are the mothers and fathers of humanity. God didn't make any mistake when he made black people. We're the only created beings on this planet. We're the only created beings on this planet. Everybody else, you see what they're doing today? You can genetically engineer a baby to look like whatever you want it to look like. You can have designer babies because they know how to manipulate the genes. They're just doing what was done to them, a violation that was created by our people a long time ago. So when we look at the condition of this planet, yeah, we can look at white people and, they're the obvious oppressors. But behind them, that's a whole nother story. But y'all listen out. Look out for Soul Mark for Life Healing Team. We are bringing the old medicine, grandmother, grandfather medicine. That's God's medicine, mother and father, God's medicine, the medicine that heals for real. Ashe.